Hello, welcome to Friday, the end of the week. We've made it. I am feeling very unkempt today, but I decided to stick with it, to sit with that discomfort. So I have not popped a beanie over, even though I look like a mess. I just had a scalding hot shower and it was wonderful, so I'm feeling better for it. So, yesterday's plans. Now, without a trace of irony, this is one of the things that I kind of miss. I actually do kind of miss about tech, and it's nice to get back into it when I have the time to actually be lost down these rabbit holes. I mean, there's still time pressure in everything I'm doing, but by the same token, I mean, this is the job. So yesterday, I managed to get my Flask app running up on EC2, and I started integrating it with my Alexa skill, putting together the intent, changing the model, updating the code, all very straightforward. But I was doing some due diligence on what Alexa's requirements are for accessing files, accessing any audio that you want to shoot it at, and it needs to be accessed via HTTPS. And here's one sentence that carries a lot of weight with it: backed by a trusted and valid certificate. So I literally spent all of yesterday and some of this morning trying to figure out and going through the process of, how do I do that? How do I actually back access to this stuff via a trusted and valid certificate? And so I'm definitely going to put a post together around this. I just got distracted by my phone showing up a notification. Hopefully that doesn't come through on the video. Let's find out. I don't think it should, but it came up on the mirroring. So how did I do it? I started by going down the path of using Apache HTTP server to serve a Flask application using mod WSGI. But that ran into problems trying to install mod WSGI for Python 3. Since realized that I didn't actually need to worry about that, because it's actually the version of Python used by WSGI is not actually I tell a lie. No, that is valid. That does matter. That was the problem. I'm recapping all of this while I'm talking through it at the same time. Yeah, that wouldn't work. I couldn't get Python 3's version of mod WSGI to run. Why do I care about that? Why is that important? Because Python 2 versus Python 2 versus Python 3 is a dramatic difference in terms of the language's capabilities, and I've been using Python 2 by necessity for so long that I'm not going to use Python 2. And I'm not entirely sure that PyDub is supported by Python 2 either. So I want to maintain consistency in terms of the code base that I'm using. Okay, so Apache 2, or Apache, yeah, it is Apache 2. Apache 2 doesn't work. So I then figured out, first time I've used Nginx. There's probably a really cute way of pronouncing that, but Nginx, yeah, let's go with that. I then installed and configured Nginx as a very lightweight web server, and that was pretty straightforward. I was really impressed by how straightforward that was. Then I happen to have a domain hanging around that I'm not using at the moment, so I was able to change the hosting on that on my provider to DNS-based hosting, and so then I installed Certbot over on EC2, and I was able to get that to auto-configure Nginx with a certificate for that domain via Let's Encrypt, which is a free service, which is fantastic. And really straightforward to get up and running with. So now there's an Nginx server which is running with a trusted certificate that was generated by Certbot, which is a tool that Let's Encrypt provide, that then is redirecting traffic to just a very small, very straightforward Python application. I'm just running my Flask application, not under mod WSGI at all. I'm just running it as standalone. Why? Because this is a proof of concept. So that's all done now, and that's working. I can access that via a browser. What I have to do now, and this is the first thing I'm going to be doing this afternoon, is I've then got to go and modify the Flask application that's up on EC2, because at the moment what that's doing is serving a few WAV files just as a demonstration. So I needed to be serving files that are in the right format, and then I'm going to hook that into the custom intent that I've got, and that's it in terms of that. It was a rabbit hole, but I'm glad that I went down that rabbit hole, because I would need to solve it at some point in time. And I'm going to continue the work of building up. I've thought about what I was talking about yesterday, and I think it does make sense to continue building this up as some kind of compelling proof of concept example of what can be done. Very simple gameplay, very simple in terms of what's actually happening, but it's all about the aesthetics that surround it and adding dynamism to that. So once that's done, I'm then going to start doing what I was going to do yesterday, which is putting together that asset list of all of the things that I want in there, and starting to put together a script as well. So looking at what are just fine-tuning the experience. For example, and I'm not going to go too far into this right now, but as a small example, at the moment when you start up the skill, it gives you the very pat entry text, which tells you, you're in the ship and you can do this. What I want to do is front load it now, so that you have to go through the process of requesting access to the ship and entering the passcode. And then there's going to be a light robotic filtering over that voice. And then once that's there, you're inside the ship, and you get a greeting from your 2IC, and he explains the situation a little bit more. The ship is powered down, and you can power the ship up, because that then lets you move through that sequence of steps. And yeah, there's a few things that I like about that. So that's what's next. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope that you are well and safe. I hope that you're able to find some rest and some restoration over the weekend. I know a few folks who are, I'm put in mind of, at the risk of being pat, someone posted something on Twitter just before, which was talking about how circles of friendship and relationships should work ideally, and it was four watering cans that were put together in a square, and so you start filling up. And I'd really love to try this out myself if I had 4 watering cans, but water basically would then, once you fill up one of them to a high enough level, or once you fill up all of them to a high enough level with a cascade going from one to the other, it created almost this perpetual motion. Well, it was a perpetual motion of water moving from one place to another. And it seems like on a day-by-day basis, like who is struggling amongst our friend circles changes, who's in danger, who has the ability to actually catch their breath and think. Yeah, it's changing constantly. So I hope that you are well, and I hope that you are safe. And yeah, I think that's about it for today. I will be continuing to work through stuff over the weekend. I might put together some stand-up videos on the weekend. I'm not posting these things online at the moment because the world at large, but I'm continuing to put them together. So I might do that for myself because it helps structure the day. So circling back around, what am I doing today? I'm going to modify the proof of concept that is now in place so that it can serve files that are in the format that Amazon expects. I've got a few of those hanging around that get uploaded to S3, so that's pretty straightforward to do. And then I'm going to start planning out what to do with the rest of the sound design for this project. That's it. Talk to you soon.